Closing the whistle, 1 minute more. Please take to the field, ready to play. Stand by.
Welcome back to Nottingham as we're underway in game 3 of the day, also in the mixed open. It's Bulgaria in white making their debut, and they're taking on Wales, who are runners-up in 2018. They are in black and they're making a very strong start, but just not quite handled correctly. And Bulgaria will have their first play. I'm delighted to say, joining me on co-commentary from the NQ Rebels, it's Ben Meakin. How are you, mate?
Good morning. Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Voice holding up.
Oh, yes, you're only game 3.
Game 3.
Day 5 might be a bit different.
Only another 55 to go.
This is going to be a good game, I think.
Yes, and Bulgaria making their debut in the competition. Do you know anything about them? Is there anything you
The last time I saw Bulgaria as an international team was when I went to the Junior Touch Championships. I think it was in Scotland in 2019. I think they made their first appearance there. That's the last time I've seen them. So they're an unknown, but hopefully they can contain this very, very good Wales team.
Yeah, the Wales runners-up last time, of course. So you would think they would be heavy favourites for this game.
Yes, as they go in for their first score, actually. I think it was just a long ball when they just got on the outside and just ran between the link and the wing to score.
Stefan Prudhock going over.
I think this Wales team is very different actually to the Wales team of 2018. There's a fair few changes, but it looks like Wales have decided to put all of their best players into this mixed opens team to try and compete with the other nations to try and win that gold this year.
Yeah, because Scotland, who are the dominant team here in this. They've won the last 4 competitions, so they.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think Scotland have decided to look and try and compete at men's and women's a bit more, and decided to maybe not put their newer players into the mixed setup. I'm not sure how they'll go this year. It's a very new team. I think England will be very good, but it's going to be between England, Wales, Scotland, I think. So, yeah, interesting to see how they go. Owen Carroll with a pick-up, 33 channel.
Just couldn't find anyone open. It was Amberley Rook who was in a lot of space, but couldn't find her in with the pass.
Owen Carroll's from Nottingham as well, so he'll be he's on home turf.
Oh yes, of course. I suppose it's worth mentioning Nottingham's my home city, your home city as well.
It is, yes. So,
although you do live in Manchester.
I do live in Manchester now, but Nottingham holds a close place to my heart.
So 2 homeboys on commentary.
Absolutely. I think the refs are a little bit confused there. I think one ref called it over the mark, I think the other ref called it was kicked in the ruck.
It's Bulgaria. Get a chance to go over halfway.
They're driving
Good
well.
drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, some flick out the back as well. That beard is very good as well by number 60,
Roberto Badola. Yes, it's one of the better beards we've seen.
Absolutely. Nice little tip on into the winger.
Wales make the change. 1-0 ahead. Bulgaria will be feeling their way into the tournament here, won't they? But
it's a big feeling out process.
Yeah, they really couldn't have had a much tougher start, could they?
Absolutely not.
Facing the runners up from 2018.
No, the organisers could have done them a favour here, but they've really not. But no, it looks like they know the game at least, and they're moving forward. You know, some teams that are new don't even move forward, whereas you can tell Bulgaria they've trained their 4-man drive, their 3-man drive that they're doing in the middle of the park now. It's just trying to get something off the back of that, which is obviously a bit more difficult.
Yeah, they're just a little bit static.
Yes,
the Bulgarians, but. The thing is, this is the only way that teams like this will learn and develop, isn't it? By coming to these sort of tournaments and playing against the likes of Wales or the best teams in Europe. That's how they're going to get better.
Absolutely, it's all about learning for these guys, and you know they know that they won't win the competition, but that's not what they're here for. They're here to learn, and they're here to try and compete with the teams, the likes of Netherlands that played earlier and stuff like that. So yeah, nice little sweeper play. Just good defence by Bulgaria.
Holding that defence well. Wales
they're running their sweeper play again. Sweeper goes round.
Space on the right hand side. Just couldn't be taken by Katie Allen. It was high, it was well overhead. It would have been an excellent take if she'd have caught it.
Yeah, absolutely. If she ran with a bit more depth, she might have got it, but it was a tough catch in the end.
Come Bulgaria again. Oh, that's a shame.
Unlucky.
Stefan Doyshev just couldn't quite take it with him. 3 games in, we had that big rain shower before play started. Do you think that will still be having an effect now, or do you feel the pitch and the balls will have dried out enough by now?
I had a walk around about 10-20 minutes ago. It's definitely dried out already. It's quite hot out there. It's quite humid. It's not Malaysia humid, 2019 World Cup, but it's definitely a little bit humid, and it's definitely dried up. So we should start to see a few more long balls. You can see the passes are starting to stick a bit more as well. As Wales run another sweeper play. Throw it back.
Passing.
Really good defence by the Bulgarian winger. She shuts down that play. They couldn't get the ball on the overlap.
Yeah, great defence by the Bulgarians. Wales getting into the position. They're getting very, very deep, but they just can't seem to break through at the minute. It might do now. Touch is claimed though, and it is given.
Again, a really, really good touch by the Bulgarian link.
Vasila Dobreva.
Yeah, Wales ran a really nice 33 switch, so they take on their 2 middles and they switch the ball, creating an overlap, but they all shut down and allowed the ball. But I think Bulgaria have actually given the ball back to Wales with a drop here.
Yeah, interesting. Bulgaria choosing to change there, not while they was playing past the sub box. So do you think that's just a little bit of a lack of experience somewhere?
I think so. It's also probably the speed that it's being played at. I think if you look at Bulgaria, as we get another sweeper, step back and pass into hole 1.
Yeah, Michael Roberts going over, getting the ball down, and Wales go 2 ahead with almost 8 minutes gone.
Yeah, going back to your point on Bulgaria and subbing, I think looking at their sub box, I think they're already feeling the pace, and you know they've not played at this speed before, so it's always going to be a bit of an issue. And that first game of the day is always, you're trying to run off that nervous energy as well, so it's always harder. So we'll see how they come and how they grow into this game.
Slip there.
It's not dry in that patch over there.
It's go back. It is very humid out there. Mel Day was over here before the start of play, and muggy was how she called it.
Definitely is muggy, actually. Yes.
And that is going to play a part, certainly as the day goes on, you would think, because they're going to have a couple of games today. You think later on, when it's a little hotter, probably a little more humid, those 20-minute halves and 40-minute games are going to take their toll a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you get to, if You know, if it stays this hot and it is as humid as it is, you know, the water intake's going to go up, the food intake's going to have to go up before games, and that is definitely going to play a part, especially in the second half. You know, your better teams should always look to go over teams, and when it is as hot as it is, or as muggy as it is, shall we say, it will play a part. Wales go for a 32 set up, a 32 short into hole 1, and it's a great score by Owen Carroll.
There's a lot of space, and it's just that little lack of experience on Bulgaria not closing in on the defence and allowing the gap for Owen Carroll to go through there.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like they had the spaces covered, but clearly the space was just a bit too big. Owen Carroll sweeps round, and you know, he's a big tall lad that could probably dive from 7 metres and always make it. I remember when he was 5 and he was only 1 foot tall. He's grown a lot since in the last couple of years.
Bulgaria, it's a good drive from them so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got to 7. Good use of the wing.
Looks like they've got a couple of touches here now.
What do you think Bulgaria's ambitions will be for this game? Is it just a case of trying to maybe get on the board, or try and keep it within a certain number of tries?
For me, I wouldn't put it down to a score. I would just look to how, you know, enjoy it more than anything. That is, obviously, it's their first game ever in a European Championships. They've got to enjoy it. If they get a score, then absolutely brilliant, which they might do here. I know it's good defence, but it's actually a really good quickie play. So they've obviously been working on a few things in their training camp leading up to this. So yeah, maybe they get that first score on the board.
Just stopped at the 7 metre, but they're pressing well, and now space on the wing, and Annika Kozova just touched on the way through. Still there for Bulgaria as Dojchev went through but was touched, and that turns the ball back over to Wales. But that was encouraging from Bulgaria.
It was actually the first time that Bulgaria have worried Wales, and they actually did. You know, you had the Wales players diving around to make touches, which means they're worried that they're not going to make the touch. So that's really encouraging to see from Bulgaria, and I'd want to see that more.
Down it goes again as Wales look to stretch it to 4, and they're going to. It's an unfortunate slip, and Michael Roberts takes full advantage and puts the ball over.
Yeah, it was a really unfortunate slip actually. Wales are just going down the middle, just a tip back, and the guy turning just slips, and he just trips over his own feet. Unfortunately, they run through the middle. It's a really unfortunate score. You can't put it down to good play. It's just unfortunate from Bulgaria's side of it.
Bulgaria start again from halfway. 4-0 Wales lead. But after an encouraging drive on their last foray into the offensive zone, they'll probably have a little bit more confidence as they take the ball on here.
Absolutely. It looks like they're trying to set up a quickie play, which is a 33 play. So it's their middles. Oh, they're looking for a scoop. And
final touches. Nikolai Stoyanev and Nikolai Langev just bump into each other on the line.
Just a bit of confusion there, I think, and they are trying to do some stuff, which it is. They are trying to make a good setup play, and that's encouraging to see.
But here come Wales at speed, over halfway already. And, they're already at the 7 metre. Just calming it down now. Good line defence from Bulgaria, but the gap is opened up now, and Wales go over again, and that was just a case of a lack of communication, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I think that the middle just lost where the line was, which enabled him to go short. So, yeah, it was again an easy-ish score, but a lot of learning from Bulgaria's side here. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that they take out of this.
And the thing is, this will give them an idea of what they've got to expect for the rest of the week. They know they're playing the runners-up from 2018. It's a very, very tough start. They'll hopefully feel that it will get slightly easier as the week goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I know no, they won't be playing Wales every single time. That they'll be playing the likes of Netherlands and Ireland, which they might actually get a good run and they might get a few scores on the board. I think that's their ambition here, isn't it? To learn. I think the biggest learning is always going to be about how they can improve, how they can take it back to their local clubs and make their local clubs better, and then hopefully get a couple of scores on the board against those teams that are probably we don't class as strong. Wales pick up for a scoop. It's a really good defence. 33 channel by number 10, Stefan.
Deutsche. He seems to be their pivotal player. He's been involved a lot, Stefan Deutsche.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like he's been training well. He looks like he knows the game. I think if we could get people moving around him, then he should be able to get some scores.
Bulgaria, this is quite a good drive so far. It's just figuring out that Welsh defence. There's not many gaps there. The passing is very good by the Bulgarians. They're passing it well. It's just trying to figure out that lock Wales defence.
You're right.
Over halfway.
It's about unlocking the defence, and it's trying to do that. They are passing the ball, and who's this coming out on the wing?
Oh, it's a great stride away. I think it's Amberley Rook who just put on the burners on the right hand side and slides over, and that's going to be a 6th try for Wales. See. There she goes. A really good try.
Yeah,
great speed as well.
Absolutely. You were talking about Bulgaria moving the ball. Wales had just got the ball, moved it towards their sub box. Bulgaria couldn't get across, and she just got the overlap and got through. It was a really good speed to put on their burners and score.
Well, the rain has returned
back in Nottingham,
so that is going to bring another factor to this game, as we'll probably have a bit of a greasy top surface, and the ball will probably become slippier and more difficult to handle.
Both Bulgaria and Wales haven't been throwing the ball around too much. It's all small 2 to 5 metre passes, so the range shouldn't impact that too much. It's when they start to throw the 4-on-3s or the 3-on-2s. Oh, Wales interception. So that's 0 touch now. They get a 7 touches for an intercept. So that was first, second coming.
Yeah, it's a strong drive by Wales as they bring fresh legs on from the sub box. Was that forward?
No, it was actually over the mark. Whoever that was on the wing got a bit too carried away, went too forward as the touch was made, and didn't drop touch to put the ball on the floor at the right time. And now Bulgaria have got a penalty.
You can see, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but the rain is really driving across the field. It's not heavy rain. It's quite light, but
it's not coming down, it's going from left to right.
Yeah, I
think
the wind is making a big difference.
Again, Wales run a sweep up. Owen Carroll sweeps round.
Space on the right, uses it, and that is number 7. And it's been a dominant performance by Wales.
Just under 2 minutes to go. Owen Carroll swept round. We'll see that on the replay shortly.
Anna Melmoth who popped the ball down. So 7-0 Wales lead. Bulgaria with a good drive though from their tap off. They're on final touch now.
There's a
long pass.
Unlucky.
Just in front of Anika Kozova.
I actually think the referee missed a call there. I think it was a dummy half caught because he put the ball down, but that didn't have any material effect on the play. So Wales have got the ball, and they're going to look to drive up the pitch and continue doing what they've been doing every single time to go 70 metres and score.
Down they go over halfway, and it's an incredibly fluid attack from Wales in this first half. They looked excellent going forward. The pass just didn't have enough zip on it to get over to the right wing.
No, Wales number 7 James Enon, he scooped, went short side, and his pass didn't get to the winger. Probably should have stepped back and looked at the 4-on-3. And
Bulgaria will start very deep in their own half as we come to the final embers of this first half. As they turn it back over.
And that was another over the mark called by the referee, so Bulgaria giving the ball up.
And there goes the final hooter, sorry, the half-time hooter, so this is the final play. And there's a touch made. That will bring the half-time whistle. So a dominant performance from Wales in this first half. 7-0 they lead, but you know, Bulgaria, they've given it everything out there in this first half. I mean, what do you think they're going to take from that?
I think you've just nailed it, really. The Bulgarians are, they're coming off, they're tired, they've given everything that they can, and they've actually done some good stuff in defence. They've actually stopped Wales in a couple of times, so I think they'll be very proud of their first 20 minutes at European Championships.
We've seen the highlights here from the first half and the tries that Wales have scored. You've seen that one just diving through, and it's just been a case of perhaps that little lack of experience in defence for the Bulgarians that have allowed Wales to sort of pull away as they have.
You're absolutely right. So if you look at all of the scores, they've all been down the middle. So if Bulgaria could just tighten up and move a bit closer to each other in the middle of the park, then we would have to cause Wales to throw the ball a bit more. And it's now raining, and that would be a bit harder to catch the ball in this wet. So I think Bulgaria should tighten up their defence in the middle, and that should definitely help them moving forward.
It's as you say, take nothing away from Wales, and they've shown Bulgaria plenty of respect as well, and they've not taken them for granted at all. Bulgaria have had quite a few chances on the 7-metre line as well. It's just finding that key really to unlock the Welsh defence.
Absolutely, and they've done it once or twice where they've got the Welsh defenders running and chasing and trying to get them on the outside, and the Welsh defenders have had to dive. So hopefully in the second half they'll get another opportunity and they can try and get one on the board.
Yeah, see the Bulgarians in front of us now. They're just chatting through things. It's can't be easy when you sort of 7 behind, but like we say, this is their first championships, and I suppose their goals are going to be just trying to get some scores on the board and then trying to keep other games as close as possible. Absolutely,
I've been there where I've been playing against, I play for England against Australia. It's completely different speed, but we were still losing 7-0 at half time. It's hard to pick yourself up, but your goals change and you have to try and aim for the goals rather than scores. So it's just trying to work on those goals that you can control, and that's the biggest thing that Bulgaria will look to do in the second half.
I think quickly if we just look at touches that are worldwide rather than just this is obviously probably the top Northern Hemisphere championship for touch, and obviously it's the World Cup next year, but that's where the Australians and New Zealanders are quite dominant.
Absolutely, they're so far ahead of the Northern Hemisphere. They've been playing touch for so long, and they actually start playing touch at 5, 6, 7, whereas in Europe especially you start playing touch in your teenage years, and that has a massive material effect on the standard of touch.
I think it's the case that Southern Hemisphere teams, they start with touch and then progress to either rugby league or union, where it's the other way round.
That's absolutely right.
And I know it's been mentioned before when we've done commentary on the England touch games earlier this season, it was mentioned how the New Zealanders and Australians, a lot of their rugby league, rugby union players credit starting on touch with how they play the game and how they're able to pass and move, and it really helped them.
Yeah, well, you watched the Commonwealth Sevens that was on Sunday in Coventry. Australia women were so far ahead of any other team, and majority of their players actually played touch, and I think half of them played for Touch Australia. So that gives them that foundation to be able to throw a miss pass, to throw a 4-on-3, to catch the ball and have that speed and agility that you can transfer over to rugby union and sevens especially.
And this is the thing in Europe, though, that the standard is improving all the time. The more competitions, the more competitive it gets. It's only going to improve the teams. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I started playing for England in 2012, and where we are now in terms of standard, it's chalk and cheese. The knowledge that the players have now got, and the coaches and the referees, it's all improved, and that is because people are putting more time and investment into the sport.
Well, here we are away again in the second half, and it's Bulgaria who have the tap off. So they're already at the 7 metres, so a good drive so far from the tap off for them.
Trying to set up a quickie play, 33.
Diving through. Belin Lamov.
I think if he could have got the ball back a little bit quicker, he would have had a bigger opportunity to score there.
Long pass out to the right hand side. A little ambitious, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
So Wales have the ball back, but they're very deep in their own half.
Wales won't mind that because they've been working on their transition and their subbing, so they look to get all of their players off in the first half, in their defensive half, and as they come on, they look to set up an attack, and that's what they'll do there. And they've just tried to tip it back and it's gone to ground.
So Bulgaria picking the ball back up again. Good defence from them. Now that will give them a bit of confidence at the start of this second half.
Again, we talk about their goals and them not allowing Wales to get to their own defensive line. We've been one of them, so it's definitely a great start.
That's Periov just looking to the heavens. In fact, Bulgaria still have it, so no penalty there for Bulgaria as they start again. And they're just not really using the transition of the sub-box like we would normally see. They tend to be making changes when they want to rather than as they're running past the box, which is probably something that they'll learn with experience.
Yeah, I think you look to sub when you're coming off from defence as they go for a quickie set-up. I think it was just ball down because the ball went forward rather than backwards from that throw ball. Bulgaria just need to go forward a bit more when they're looking to attack, so they're taking steps backwards rather than going forward, and that allows the Welsh defence to push them even further back.
It's Wales who go over halfway.
So they're going to do the same thing. They're going to make a dump between the middles. They have a scoop up, and then they go into goal.
Oh, not just
she's dropped it. She's dropped it on the far side.
It was a great run by James Enyon as well. I think it was Amberley Rook on that far side. Just couldn't quite gather it in and get the ball down.
No, first game just as potentially. Don't want to be doing that in a final because that could cost you, but I think they'll be okay in this game.
I think they've got a very comfortable cushion. You never say never. Stranger things have happened in sport.
Exactly.
Bulgaria again. Turn back over to the Welsh who start from halfway. Tap off play really.
Yeah, so I think Bulgaria didn't even get to halfway in their 6 touches, so it's something that they need to work on, is how they get going forward, especially when they're tired. Wales are going to set up a 33 touch.
Oh, just diving through. And that is an 8th try for the Welsh, and it's Callum Richards who goes down this time.
Yeah, it was a middle setup, and it's what we call a quickie play. He steps back. It's actually an open side quickie, and I think the link defender doesn't realise where the line is, and he's able to dot the ball down. Don't think he needed the dive.
Although, probably using the recent shower to its best effect. There probably got a bit of a greasy top surface again.
He won't be welcoming those knees after 5 days of diving. I promise you that now.
I think anyone who played in Banbury a couple of weeks ago.
I'm still walking around with scabs on my knees from this, so yes, I will not be diving for a long time after that.
As Wales have it back as Bulgaria were pressing. That's good passing.
And that's
right
first
on
or
the
second
touchline.
touch. I think that was first. They've got second coming, and they're already in Bulgaria's, final 20 metres. So they should look to set up a couple of strike moves here. They're going to send a sweeper.
Oh, now this space over on the right hand side, and down it goes again. Katie Allen got into lots of space, and it was just a case of playing the right pass, which they did.
Yeah, you can see in the first half they sent a lot of sweepers, so instead of giving the ball to the sweeper, they just picked up short side, and there was the winger that was open, and we got the ball out to the winger. So
9-0, the Welsh lead. It's been a thoroughly professional performance by them.
yeah, they've done everything that they've trained. They've gone 70 metres. They've gone from touchline to touchline every single time that they've had the ball, and they've scored some scores that they'll be proud of. But I think they'll have a few bigger tasks ahead.
Oh, that's a shame. As Bulgaria were looking quite threatening there, to be fair. Oh, now the burners are on. And all the way from one end to the other, and down it goes. And Wales go to double figures. Callum Richards.
I think he just started. It was a new set of 6. He got the ball, ran to the 7, dumped it, got the ball back, and managed to get on the outside. I think he's a little bit younger than a few of the Bulgarian players as well, so that gives him a bit of an advantage.
Here's Bulgaria start again. And fair play to them, they've not let their heads drop. They're still battling away. They're still trying to get something out of the game.
They're doing the same thing each time, so it's something that they've worked on in training. They're going to keep sticking to it, and yeah, they keep doing what they need to do. So I think they'll do this all tournament. I think they'll enjoy it, no matter the outcome of the games. I think they're going to enjoy the experience, and that's what they're here for. It's learning and enjoying that experience.
Wales pressing again.
Sending another sweeper. They give the ball to the sweeper this time, and it's just a simple 3-on-2. Did she make the touch? What a great touch by that winger.
I think the touch was made. Wales still have it though, and there's space again out on the right hand side, and once again it's Katie Allen. Finds herself in a load of space and has the easiest task of putting the ball down, but well gathered in. Good passing by the Welsh, to be fair.
You've just said that, and I think the referee's just giving it as forward. So, yeah, the referee's giving that one as forward, which we're not in line, so we can't see. They've obviously got the sideline referees calling that to help the main on-field referee. And yeah, it was called forward, so it looked like a good pass and a good catch, but referees are in a better spot than we are currently.
So that one scratched off. It is still 10-0. Oh, that's a shame. Just not quite taken by Vadiva. It's the Welsh who start again. Again, moving over to the sub box, they've been really efficient with getting their players on and off the Welsh.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. I reckon they've been training for a fair few months now, maybe 6-12 months for this tournament, especially with the cancellation from the last couple of years and moving from the international series last year. They know how to get off, they know how to transition and then get a strike attack. So they are very efficient in what they're doing.
Well, now it's pop down, and now here is an opportunity for the Welsh again, and this time it is taken. Emilio Grattarola pops the ball over, and Wales do have their 11th.
Yeah, it was just a 32 short. Owen Carroll's running short, and he just pops the ball to the link that gets on the outside and dots the ball down.
Rain has returned again. A few showers were forecast for this morning, but then it's also forecast to be bright sunshine all this afternoon.
And for the rest of the week by the looks of it.
Yes.
So we're in some luck. Wales are going down the side, moving the ball very nicely, taking that touch now, and Wales will look to sweep on and try and punish a Bulgarian. And Bulgaria will be very proud of themselves to play their country at European Championships for the first time. So yeah, it was very nice to watch.
Well, Ben, thanks so much for being with us. We will speak to
Thank
you
you for having
again
me.
later. You'll be back again. Coming up next, we've got the men's 40s tournament, England against Wales. Mel Day will be on commentary with me for that one. Do join us for that very, very soon.